Reading is not just about finishing pages quickly, it is about slowing down, paying attention, and entering the mind of the writer. When you read like a writer, you begin to notice why certain words were chosen, why sentences flow in particular rhythms, and why characters come alive in very specific ways. This kind of close reading can transform both how you experience books and how you approach your own writing. Most of us grow impatient as adults. We skim, scroll, and race through text as though it were a list of items to be checked off. Skimming may be useful when gathering information or reading the news. But when it comes to literature, this habit can rob us of its deeper rewards. Stories, after all, are built layer upon layer. The deeper you look, the more treasures you uncover. A single phrase, a repeated image, or even a seemingly small detail may change the way you see the entire story. One of the most powerful lessons comes from noticing word choices. Out of thousands of possible words, an author carefully selects the right one. This choice can determine how we meet a character, how we feel about a scene, or how we anticipate the story. When Flannery O'Connor begins a tale with "The grandmother didn't want to go to Florida," she could have given the woman a name, but she didn't. By keeping her nameless, the character is both specific and universal. She stands as the grandmother, a figure who could belong to any family, yet also a very particular person. Such word choices shape how we perceive the story before it even begins. Even mistakes in language can reveal truth. In James Joyce's The Dead, the word literally is misused when a character describes being literally run off her feet. Technically wrong, but perfectly right for the voice of the character, because it shows us her background and personality. This is how authors breathe life into fictional people through the words they choose, even when those words are not correct by grammar rules. Another layer of writing to pay attention to is the sentence itself. A sentence can be long and flowing, or short and sharp, but the best ones often have a sense of clarity, rhythm, and even music. Some writers are masters of simple, clean sentences that carry great power. Others use repetition, sound, and pacing to create emotion. For example, Joyce's description of snow falling in The Dead does not just paint an image, it lulls the reader into the rhythm of snow itself, falling faintly across the page. Reading such sentences aloud helps us hear their music and understand why they work. Paragraphs, too, have their own role in shaping the reader's experience. They are not only about dividing text into sections but also about creating emphasis and rhythm. A paragraph is a breath in writing. A very long one can overwhelm, while a very short one can feel choppy. The way an author divides text shows what they believe deserves focus and pause. Some authors use paragraphs like camera shots in a movie, zooming in slowly, moving from wide views to close portraits. Others use them to create sharp breaks and emotional impact. Observing these choices teaches us how structure shapes meaning. Stories are also shaped by the narrator. Who tells the story makes all the difference. A first-person narrator lets us live inside a character's mind. That narrator may not be trustworthy, but that in itself can be fascinating. We may not like the character, but we can be drawn to their voice, their honesty, or even their strangeness. On the other hand, third-person narrators can show us the bigger picture. They can be distant, like a quiet observer, or they can carry their own personality. Slipping in subtle judgments or curious tones, paying attention to the narrator's voice helps us understand not only the story being told, but also how it is meant to be experienced. Characters, of course, are at the heart of every novel. Writers bring them to life through what they do, what they think, and what they say. Some writers reveal character through action alone, showing us choices, reactions, and gestures that speak louder than any description. Others let us into the private thoughts of their characters, exposing their fears, dreams, and hidden flaws. Dialogue, too, is a powerful tool. A few lines of conversation can reveal more about a character's desires and insecurities than pages of description. When characters speak in ways that feel natural and true, readers believe in them as real people. But perhaps the most powerful element of writing is detail. A story becomes believable through small specific touches, the brand of a car, the nervous tapping of fingers, or a peculiar way of smiling. These details, often trivial at first glance, make a world come alive. They convince us that a lie is truth, that fiction is reality. When Ivan Turgenev describes a woman tapping each admirer on the forehead with flowers, we immediately see her in our minds. We may not know everything about her yet, but that one gesture tells us she is playful, unusual, and unforgettable. Writers are like magicians with details, and readers who notice them gain access to the deeper tricks of storytelling. To read like a writer is to slow down and savor these elements: words, sentences, paragraphs, narration, character, and detail. Each carries hidden choices made by the author. By asking why those choices were made, we learn the craft behind the art, and when we carry those lessons into our own writing, we begin to create work that resonates more strongly. Reading this way also changes the way we see stories. Instead of simply consuming them, we participate in them. We become detectives searching for patterns, musicians listening for rhythm, and artists noticing how brushstrokes build the larger picture. Literature becomes not just entertainment but also a teacher, quietly guiding us toward better writing and deeper understanding. The key message is simple: slow down, let every word and detail matter. If you do, reading will no longer just be a way to pass time, it will become a way to learn, to write, and to connect with the minds of the greatest storytellers. And when it comes to writing, the advice is equally simple: write boldly. Do not fear judgment or rejection. Many masterpieces were once considered strange or foolish. The courage to write something that others may dislike is often the courage needed to create something truly original. Writing freely, without fear of what your family or critics might think, allows your true voice to come forward. That is the voice that readers will want to hear. In the end, reading like a writer is not about following strict rules. It is about curiosity, patience, and appreciation. It is about treating words not as fast food, but as a meal to be enjoyed slowly. When you read this way, you will not only become a better writer, you will also find greater joy in every book you open.